Thank you, Laura. Should old acquaintance be forgot and never brought to mind? Well, 2019 has seen Arsenal depart with an experienced Spanish boss and replace him with a new, younger, fresher, but ultimately less experienced one. Mikel Arteta took over in the midst of Arsenal's worst home run since Auld Lang Syne was considered pop music. But despite getting a better tune out of them, they're still yet to hit the high notes. Manchester United rang in the new year, not quite with party poppers, but with 6 wins from 9. It was certainly worth raising a pint cup to, and they are just the sort of team that Arsenal should fear. Happy to sit, happy to soak, and then strike. These are the two teams, starting off with the home team Arsenal, who have made 4 changes from the defeat to Chelsea at the weekend. Bernd Leno is the goalkeeper, Ainsley Maitland-Niles, David Luiz, Socrates is back, and Saïd Kolasinac making up the back 4. Granit Xhaka, Luca Torreira are the 2 holders in midfield. Xhaka back in the team, despite the fact that he missed Sunday's game with illness, and of course that heavy link with Hertha Berlin. Pepe, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang and Mesut Ozil play behind Alex Lacazette, who has scored just 6 goals this season. Manchester United, David De Gea in goal. Aaron Wan-Bissaka returns to the defence at right back. Victor Lindelof, Harry Maguire, Luke Shaw, they make up the back 4. Fred and Matic in midfield. No Pogba once again today, not even in the squad. Dan James, Jesse Lingard and Marcus Rashford support Anthony Martial in attack. Well, the 10 games of New Year have already brought you on TalkSport. Bournemouth slipping into the relegation zone at the expense of West Ham, who won their first game under David Moyes. Harry Kane going off injured as Spurs lost to Saints. Brighton holding Chelsea in the early game. Leicester beating Newcastle. Watford hanging on against Wolves. Manchester City playing well in their 2-1 win over Everton. Norwich and Palace drawing in a late goal in a 4-2-4 formation from Roy Hodgson. And Villa beating Burnley away. But now it's the fireworks. Erratic Arsenal against the mid-season movers Manchester United, and it is live, and it is only on TalkSport. Arsenal with red-bodied jerseys, white sleeves and white shorts, attacking the goal to our right in the first half. Manchester United attacking the end to our left in black, and the referee Chris Kavanagh blows the whistle. Had an eventful end to 2019. He appeared to have struck John Fleck at the weekend in the build-up to the Manchester City goal, and he was the VAR who ruled out Tiemo Pukki's goal on Saturday. Today's helping hand comes from Paul Tierney. My helping hand comes from Ali McCoist and Paul Parker. Arsenal have got to start really well, haven't they? But they're on the back foot immediately because the ball's been slipped forward by Martial to Marcus Rashford, up to Lingard and back to Rashford again, and his shot straight down the throat of Bernd Leno. What they can't afford to do is give the ball away like that and allow themselves to be counter-attacked upon.
That's the problem. They give the ball away and all of a sudden have a shot at goal. And Rashford hit it. It was interesting to see the way he struck that. He got out his feet and attempted to hit it like one of his free kicks. But thankfully, from Martin's point of view, a comfortable save.
On halfway, Ozil picks the ball up, drives forward. He played reasonably well in the game on Sunday afternoon, worked incredibly hard and got a bit of praise for that, and he'll have to do the same again. It's something that Mikel Arteta has been speaking about in the build-up to this game. 0-0, we played a minute. You're listening to TalkSport. Ali McCoy, Sam Matterface and Paul Parker in the commentary box. And interestingly, the 2 first-choice fullbacks are back in today for Manchester United.
Yes, they are, and I'm very surprised, but I still believe that Brandon Williams, as he proved in the last game, is going to be a very, very good fullback for Manchester United. I just think he needs an opportunity after a good game to play in a fixture like this, to really put him to the sword and to test out how good he's going to be.
Here's Kolasinac on the other side for Arsenal, coming down the left touchline. He's about halfway inside Manchester United territory, tries to release Aubameyang, and it floats out of play and goes out for a throw-in over on the far side to Manchester United. 0-0 the score. Arsenal without a home win in the Premier League since October the 6th. The only win they've managed in their last 15 was against West Ham United. And I think that Sunday underscored the task that awaits Mikel Arteta. Here is the rapid speed of Daniel James, racing down that right-hand side. He gets a little nudge from Kolasinac, and a free kick is given right on the edge of the Arsenal penalty area. And
quick mark, I've got to say, off his mark really, really quick. You look at the speed of him there, and it's definitely a free kick. He gets nudged, and it's in a dangerous area. It's a good area for Arsenal to exploit, Sam.
He has incredible speed. In fact, Manchester United possess speed all over the park, don't they? They can break away with Dan James, who's very fleet of foot, as we've already found out. Rashford moves at breakneck speed. Lingard can snap forward at double time. And now they have a free kick over on the right-hand side, which is about a step outside the penalty area, away to our right. Chris Kavanagh just having a quick word with Kolasinac, who's been booked for that challenge.
Yeah, well, to be honest, looking at it, I thought he was definitely a booking. I thought he'd got away with it. I mean, he knew what he was doing as well. He was not going to get back.
I tell you what you don't want, 3 minutes into the game, you don't want one of the getting a yellow card and then having to face one of the quickest players in the game coming at you for the next 87 minutes.
They don't need to be playing a high line, by the way.
Absolutely.
And that's how Arsenal are defending this free kick. They're about 2 yards back from the edge of the 18-yard box. There is a good number, 5 or 6 black jerseys inside the area away to our left that Manchester United are attacking. Free kick to be taken over on the far side. It's whipped in by Fred towards the near post, and it's punched away by Bernd Leno, who probably could have caught that, didn't, punched it out, and Pepe racing clear towards the halfway line. Up to Özil, first time ball into the centre, a bit behind Lacazette, who gets chopped by Matic. That's going to be a yellow card as well. Definitely a free kick on the edge of the centre circle, and the Arsenal players are up in arms.
I'm up in arms as well, because honestly, he went down there. Honestly, it looked like he was jumping in the swimming pool. It was a poor one as well. I mean, he played for that Lacazette. He was just waiting now for contact to go down.
You're 100% right, Paul. He takes the touch, brings it into him, and actually sticks his backside out, waiting for the contact, which inevitably came.
0-0 the score. 4.5 minutes. You're listening to TalkSport. And Lacazette, it was just a bit behind him, the ball, wasn't it? So he adjusted his body and waited for the contact to come in from behind, which it did. Arsenal tried to get things moving and end up going backwards rather than forwards and given away by Maitland-Niles on the halfway line, and Lingard takes full advantage. He's got James to his right. He spots him, plays it in on the edge of the area. The return ball into towards Rashford, and Lingard wasn't particularly precise. It was cut out by Xhaka, and it goes out for a corner over on the far side. It's the first corner of the game, and it goes Manchester United's way.
Just think the ball to James from Lingard was behind him as well. It took momentum out of the counter-attack.
It was a poor giveaway by Maitland-Niles.
Really poor ball, Sam, inside from Maitland-Niles, picked up by Lingard. Really poor ball.
Here is the corner to be taken over on the far touchline. Once again, Fred's hand is in the air. He clips it in towards the near post, headed away by Maitland-Niles towards the edge of the area. Pepe tries to race it clear, but Wan-Bissaka gets there first, launches the ball back towards the edge of the penalty area, where it's headed away by Xhaka over on the far side. Xhaka looks up, clips it down into the path of Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. Good little shuffle out to the wide left position. Then Özil, does he keep it in? I think he might have just gone out of play, and it goes out for a throw in. The fact that Wan-Bissaka had given it up over on the far side after very quickly moving away from Özil, there was only going to be one winner if it turned into a chase, meant that it was always likely that the throw was going to be given over on the far side. 6 minutes played. You're listening to TalkSport. Paul Parker, Ali McCoist and Sam Adderface at the Emirates, the big game of the day. We've brought you all 9 of the Premier League encounters today, and we've got Liverpool-Sheffield United tomorrow. Foul on Xhaka inside his own half, just left of centre, and he tried to get things moving quickly and kick it against Lingard to try and get him booked. The referee, Chris Kavanagh, having none of it. David Luiz to take the free kick then. Just strokes it back into the path of Socrates, who missed the game on Sunday because of concussion, and is back in the team today. And it's quite a good job, really, with Callum Chambers injured and probably out for the rest of the season. He's back alongside David Luiz. They've had so many issues defensively, Arsenal, haven't they? And a lot of that is to do with the fact that they've chopped and changed the back throughout the course of the season. A lot of it's to do with the fact that their defenders aren't exactly defenders first. And Maitland-Niles, for example, is a winger. It's been converted as a right back.
Yeah, and also I feel for Tierney, who's come down full of hope and expectation from Celtic. Yeah. No doubt about it. Sam's a good player, quality player, and he's injured as well, can't string any games together, so they've not had the problems to seek, that's for sure.
All squeezed out to the left for Manchester United, and Maguire helping it on towards Luke Shaw. Infield it goes, and now Rashford trying to turn it back to Luke Shaw, who's now out of position as Arsenal win it and look to counter-attack, and Pepe has stolen a march on Shaw, and if they could have squeezed the ball to him, there might have been a problem. They didn't. They went back into their own half, switched the angle of the attack, and here's Kolasinac thundering down the left, trying to move up towards the edge of the area. Aubameyang takes over, just chops back in on his right foot, then sends it on to Kolasinac, who might well be offside. Sean Macias said play on. It comes back to Pepe, who rifles it in, and it goes beyond David De Gea, and Arsenal get the lead. Well, VAR will check it for offside in the build-up to the goal. Manchester United certainly thought that could be a possibility, but Arsenal played on, continued, and Pepe rewards Mikel Arteta for throwing him into the team tonight by scoring the opening goal. It's Arsenal 1, Manchester United 0.
I have to say, I initially thought it was offside, but I looked at Harry Maguire. He was the last man.
Well, I agree with you, Paul. I think if it's not offside, it's really poor defending, I've got to say.
He should have been in line, to be perfectly honest, and he was standing in behind. But I'm looking at the players as well, the Man United players, all just walked up.
He steps out, he's well onside actually. It's poor defending, it's got to be said.
It's really poor defending.
Really poor defending. It's waiting, it's getting checked, but I think we can safely say it was onside, because he steps out and he steps out too late.
Yeah, and that's down to the fact he knows he was in a poor position.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, what happened was Kolasinac should have been in an offside position, but Harry Maguire had just hung back, hadn't he, a couple of yards.
Yes. And
then realised, I'm out of position here, stepped forward. By that time, United were all over the place. Pepe took advantage, rifled it home, and Manchester United are behind at Arsenal, and Mikel Arteta turns round, a couple of fist pumps to the sky. He knows that's a big goal for his team. Just remember, they took the lead against Chelsea as well. 9 minutes played, and the goal from Pepe separates these two, and we thought there might well be a few goals in this fixture. Here come Arsenal again. Kolasinac bounding forward, down the left, looking for the run of Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. Gets it now. He's midway between the edge of the penalty area and the byline. He sends the ball towards the back post. Pepe kills it with one touch, then tries to get the cross in, hesitates, waits, pulls it back to the right edge of the area. It's swirled in towards the far post, away by Wan-Bissaka, and then picked up over on the far side by Xhaka. Xhaka recycles it, finds Özil. Özil gets it under control, manipulates it in field, looks for Pepe, goes past Shaw, who's dragging him back. He's inside the area now. Still Pepe has it. Shaw's on the ground. It's sent back to Aubameyang over the top of the crossbar. What a good move by Arsenal. What a good start by the Gunners, who have come out at breakneck speed. They lead by a goal to nil.
They've had a great start. Kolasinac in particular, first 10 minutes. Shaw actually gets away with one there, because another couple of yards he might have given away a penalty. Great ball in from Pepe. Aubameyang can't keep it down, and probably should have.
And that first started from the fact of Luke Shaw was out of position when the first cross come over. He was so far tucked in towards Harry Maguire, he forgot about Pepe, and it was a great first touch, by the way, by Pepe.
Well, Arsenal would have been buoyed by the performance in the last half an hour at Bournemouth. I think they were impressed with what they saw for 45 minutes against Chelsea. Mikel Arteta saying the stamina-wise, if they can put that together over 90 minutes, they can cause a team problem. They've started really well here again. 11 minutes gone. It's Arsenal who lead by a goal to nil, but Manchester United is still a threat, and Martial is going down the right-hand side. Leno comes to the perimeter of his penalty area, wide on the left, collects it ahead of the Frenchman, and bowls it out towards the near side. What a breathless start to the encounter here at the Emirates Stadium. Beautiful night for football this. A little bit of a chill in the air. There's a bit of dampness around the ground here. We're at the back of the first tier, just right at the halfway line. We've got a perfect view of the pitch here and all the tactics that are going on down in front of us, and it'll be easy to see as Arsenal come forward over on that left-hand side, the impact of Özil and Aubameyang, who worked so hard in that first 45 minutes against Chelsea at the weekend, tracking back, helping out their midfield, protecting their defence. They will need to do that tonight as well.
Well, there's certainly a great start, Arsenal. There's nothing wrong with the way they've started, and there's actually nothing wrong with the support they're getting from the crowd as well, because the atmosphere's terrific.
Even Granit Xhaka probably feels comfortable out in the middle of the park today. The Emirates aren't great really for Arsenal. They have beaten United just 5 times in the last 27 meetings. Here's Maitland-Niles jinking his way towards the edge of the United penalty area. Down the Arsenal right, he threatens to come infield. Martial's down on the halfway line, and I think a free kick has been given here, and David Luiz rather pointlessly has given away a cheap free kick, and Arsenal have to deal with a quick counter-attack from Manchester United. Daniel James is played over the top. Socrates comes across after Kolasinac failed to clear, and it's out on this near side, and it's away for a throw-in to Manchester United, 1-0.
That was an interesting one, actually. The referee gave the free kick, but was kind of pointing over to his assistant. The assistant that gave it.
Konstantin Hatzidakis over on the far side. Sean Massielis is the assistant on the near side. Here is Mesut Özil, a step inside his own half, just comes out towards the near touchline on the Arsenal right, exchanges passes with Maitland-Niles, then wanders back in field, curls it round into the path of the shaggy-haired David Luiz, who was lucky, I think, to escape without punishment when he raised his foot at N'Golo Kanté at the weekend. A rather wild swipe from the former Chelsea man. He sent the ball out of play over on the far side. In terms of the fullback role today, Kolasinac played a massive part in that goal, Paul Parker. Maitland-Niles on this near side does love to get forward as well. Does that give Manchester United the possibility of getting in behind both those two, because they do love to get forward? Without a doubt,
that should be suiting them, but the problem is United can't get the ball, and when they do get on the ball, I have to say Arsenal are pressing really, they're getting really tight and they're really squeezing up. They're not allowing United to get in behind them. Rashford hasn't had a run. Martial's had one run, nothing of any great ball going through at all. It's been quite poor quality. On the other side of it, Maitland-Niles and Pepe are causing a problem for Luke Shaw. They're isolating him and they see him as a weakness.
Yeah, just then Manchester United tried to come forward and there was a bit of space in the centre and everyone gravitated right into the middle of the Arsenal half. It became very narrow. Luke Shaw actually stayed back then. There wasn't a pass out wide for Matic. Went to Rashford and he ended up running down a cul-de-sac. It remains 1-0 to Arsenal. Matic trying to curl it into the left channel for Martial to chase. He doesn't reach that. It goes all the way through to Bernd Leno. His birthday the other day, and it's cleared away.
It was Chelsea's birthday the other day when he came for that corner.
Well, he was certainly handing out the gifts, wasn't he? Crikey. Here on the right-hand side is Ainsley Maitland-Niles. Actually, now I've said that, I don't know whether or not it was his birthday or it was my mate's birthday who looks like him. I'm sure it came up on Facebook, actually. Here on the left-hand side is David Luiz. Infield to Xhaka. Xhaka back to Bernd Leno. And Arsenal trying to play out from the back. Look at Pepe just jinking down the touchline on this near side. His studs are almost stuck on the white line, the chalk of the white line. He's so wide out here. Ball goes into Torreira, and that's a late challenge from behind by Lingard. Xhaka straight over to Chris Kavanagh. Mikel Arteta comes bounding out of his technical area. They want a yellow card, they're not going to get one.
I'm watching Arteta as well, lads. When the goalkeeper or any of the back four get the ball, he's screaming for the width. He's wanting Maitland-Niles here in Kolasinac. He's wanting Pepe out on the right hand side. He's demanding them on the touchline.
Here come Manchester United up. That breaks down. James onto Martial, trying to squeeze it back into the path of Lingard. Socrates goes to ground and does well. Tussles with Martial, comes away with the ball. 16 minutes gone. It's 1-0 in favour of the home team Arsenal, who scored through Nicolas Pepe. Nicolas Pepe getting his 5th goal of the season. It's only his 2nd goal from open play.
But you have to say as well, Arsenal are defending quite well. Every time United get the ball, they're not far away from each other. There's no big gaps as we saw a lot of times this season. They're staying really compact as a back four.
Yeah, and we haven't been able to say that too often about them at all. Here is David Luiz, quick shuffle out towards the far side, drives it into the path of Aubameyang. His ball back was a little bit short. Xhaka stops Lingard from escaping, and it's cleared up into the air, and it's held by David De Gea. Currently Arsenal 1, Manchester United 0 on TalkSport, and for the latest odds you can head to the Betfair Exchange, the official betting partner of TalkSport's Premier League coverage, where right now you can get Arsenal at 1.2, Manchester United at 5.4, the draw at 4.1. That's all thanks to the Betfair Exchange. More ways to bet, more ways to win. 18 plus, please gambleaware.org. And that was quite a sloppy piece of play, wasn't it, from Manchester United? And then Maitland-Niles ended up giving away away a free kick.
And he should have got a foul early in that, by the way. Marcus Rashford didn't come to the ball, and actually Maitland-Niles got there in front of him, and Rashford actually used his arm to get in front of him. It should have been given a foul, but they got a foul in the end.
Here is Harry Maguire, deep inside his own territory, sending the ball to Victor Lindelof, who defended really well in the game against Burnley. They did get a clean sheet away from home, Manchester United, not so long ago. It has happened. They've had their problems defensively. Clipped forward by Matic, high into the air, looking for Lingard. Headed down, but it comes through to Rashford, who wins it on the edge of the D. Fred then tussling with Xhaka. Xhaka comes away with the ball just about. By hook or by crook, Arsenal get it up towards the halfway line. It's swiped by Kolasinac out towards the wide right. Now taken on by Pepe, who darts infield, then slaloms to the left. He looks up, he spreads the play back out towards Aubameyang. Aubameyang's ready to receive it, quickly pops it off. Kolasinac joining left side, 3 steps in from the touchline. Back centrally is Luca Torreira, and Arsenal in control of the game at the moment. Ali McCoist.
There's no doubt about it. I've been impressed with the two fullbacks from Arsenal, Maitland-Niles and particularly Kolasinac on the left hand side. Again, I mentioned it, Pepe on the right hand side giving them real width, as Aubameyang in the left. They definitely have started the better of the two sides.
The outball though, Paul Parker, for Manchester United is Dan James on the far right.
Yeah, well, I was just looking there, and it got the ball, went to Wan-Bissaka. He had no one to pass it to down the line. He's had to virtually come backward when he was in a position to go forward. That's the problem with United at the moment. They're not finding, no one's making space at all. Arsenal are so far at the moment in front of this game, not just by scoreline, just in general play.
Well, Maguire was trying to get the ball away from the 18-yard box there that he's defending. He looked to try and play it forward, tried to sky it out towards the far touchline, and Arsenal pressed so well they closed down all the gaps, didn't they?
That was absolutely brilliant to watch there. They pressed really high. I didn't think the Maguire should have been taking the ball there nearly inside his own 6-yard box, it has to be said.
Arsenal have it back again over on the far side. You're listening to TalkSport, where 19 minutes have been played at the Emirates on what has been a really busy day up and down the country in the Premier League. Every game has been available on the TalkSport app today, either on TalkSport, on TalkSport 2, or exclusively available on the TalkSport app. West Ham thrashed Bournemouth in David Moyes' first game in charge. Bournemouth have dropped into the relegation zone as a result of that. Eddie Howe saying that he hates losing games. After that match, Harry Kane went off injured as Spurs lost at Saints. Brighton held Chelsea in the early game. Leicester beat Newcastle without Jamie Vardy again. And Watford hang on against Wolverhampton Wanderers. Man City scoring twice through Gabriel Jesus, beat Everton. Norwich and Palace drew. Villa beat Burnley away, and here it's 1-0 to Arsenal.
And that's worth a mention as well, Sam. You look at Leicester being totally outclassed by Liverpool in the game in Boxing Day, and they've come back with another couple of good results. Fair play to them.
Yeah, 2 tough games, away at Manchester City and at home to Liverpool, and they've dealt with it particularly well. Here on this right hand side, as Manchester United try to scurry back into position, Arsenal come forward with Maitland-Niles, and then back to Luca Torreira, whose only Premier League goal this season was against Liverpool. In fact, both the goals that he's scored this season have come against Liverpool. One in the Carabao Cup as well. We've got Carabao Cup action for you upcoming next week. The 2 semi-finals, Manchester United against Manchester City, and Aston Villa against Leicester. Here is Kolasinac bounding forward again. Emerick Aubameyang's cross is a poor one. It's cut out by Shaw. Doesn't deal with it particularly well. It goes out of play and away for a throw-in down by the corner flag to Arsenal.
I just thought his starting position was wrong there. He had his back to Pepe. He didn't know exactly where he was. He just walked back a little bit. Well, should have run back a little bit so he could see both.
Yeah. Problem here for Kolasinac over on the left-hand side. I don't know if there was a collision.
Flying. I'll tell you, he's flying the first 20 minutes, Kolasinac.
It's disappointing if he has to come off. He's just got back to his feet now, but he wasn't particularly comfortable. He's just stretched his hand out and said to the physio, don't worry, everything's okay. Arsenal have been able to throw the ball into Pepe, who's taken it in well, turned it back into Maitland-Niles, whose run is blocked by Rashford, half cleared by Shaw, not particularly the best of clearances, and Xhaka then clips it out to Maitland-Niles again. Now Özil wearing gloves and a long sleeve jersey onto Pepe, back in field he goes, across comes Shaw, stands in his way, and they go back to the halfway line. Arsenal, who have started rather diligently, working hard for the calls once again. When we say that like that, that's a big surprise, but it is Arsenal. Here is Kolasinac over on the left-hand side, playing the ball down the touchline. Woods has given me the most filthiest look you've ever seen.
I tell you, again, do you see how quickly Arsenal lost the ball, how quickly they got it back in the throw, and their work rate has been unbelievable. I mean, they've played really well when they have the ball, but as soon as they lose it...
But you can understand why people turn around and say, why didn't Arsenal do this under Emery? Why didn't they do this at the back end of the Wenger regime? Why didn't they work? It's the same players.
Well, you could say the same with Everton. You could say the same with Watford.
Yeah, it's just been going on longer here. Here's Fred on the edge of the centre circle, turning the ball out towards the near side. Now it's with Shaw, who takes it on, looks up. He's got a bit of movement in front of him, but not enough for him to play the ball into. There was no one central. Now it's Matic. Rashford back into the centre of the United half, and Harry Maguire, who's seen his team concede again, has the ball and finds Fred to Matic, back out towards the left-hand side. Shaw now coming forward. We played 23 minutes at the home of Arsenal, and it is 1-0 to the Gunners. Martial to Rashford, back to Martial again, tries to go in beyond Luca Torreira, who flies in with a tackle which he doesn't actually make. Skipped over by Martial. The ball breaks left. Now it's with Rashford trying to take on Pepe. Infield it goes. Now it's on to Matic. Matic just tiptoes down the left side. A little neat ball by Shaw into Rashford. Matic helped on. Martial's not going to get there. The clearance from Socrates hits the back of him and goes into the edge of the area. Matic tidies up for Manchester United. Lingard helps it on. Not the most crisp of passes. And again, Daniel James is standing over on the far side in acres of space saying, hello, I'm here, find me. They didn't. And Arsenal come away with the ball, and they do so with speed and menace. And here is Özil out to the right, looking for Pepe, who's been flying in the opening exchanges of this game. Takes it infield, just slows up slightly, and then sends it square. On the edge of the centre circle is Xhaka, and now it's Torreira up to Pepe, and Matic just shuffles the ball out of his path and back into the Arsenal half of the field. Ali McCoist.
Really impressed with Arsenal, I've got to say. Opening 25 minutes. I couldn't split them before the game, but Arsenal by far and away have started the better side. Very direct, they're using the width. I mentioned it earlier on, Sam. I'm enjoying watching Arteta in the technical area. He's screaming for width from his fullbacks, and indeed Pepe on the right and Aubameyang on the left. And at this moment in time, Manchester United aren't handling them at all well.
Here is Kolasinac working his way down the left touchline again, sends a cross into the centre, it's blocked, comes back to Lacazette, who twists past Wan-Bissaka, gets the cross in deep towards the far post, left by Shaw, goes out for a goal kick. You're listening to Arsenal versus Manchester United on TalkSport with Now TV. Don't forget you can watch all 11 Sky Sports channels for a one-off payment of just $9.99. I think it's only prudent of me to try and tell you, if I can find it, the latest scoreline from the World Darts Championship, because I know that we've got one keen member of the team who wants to know what's going on. In fact, we've probably got about 3 or 4.
Absolutely.
Van Gerwen 2, Wright 3, best of 13 sets over on TalkSport 2. Wow, says Woodsy. Peter Wright was 2-0 up at one stage.
I'll tell you right now, you can't rule out the old snake bite.
Here is Lindelof onto Fred. Fred is bustled off the ball by Torreira. Oh, foul by the referee. He's blown for a free kick. We going with that, Paul Parker?
Yep, I'll have to say, yeah, he's come for his kick. They actually kicked through the back of his foot as well. I have to say as well with Arsenal, their defending is they're working really hard, not for the fact of United are actually causing them problems, for the fact of they're knowing when to squeeze and when to drop off. That's why they're not getting caught out behind.
Here is Rashford out towards the right. James takes it on, gets to the edge of the area, low cross, blocked by David Luiz rather unconventionally. He was on his knees, almost looking as if he was praying as he stopped that with his chest. And then the ball is worked wide to Pepe, who's immediately hounded by a combination of Dan James and Luke Shaw. Shaw plays it against Pepe. That's going to be a throw in to Manchester United. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and Kieran McKenna, part of the backroom staff at Manchester United, come charging out into the technical area.
The moment in time, he's just got to organise them and just to get wide, to get the ball out wide. Look where the space is, and the space is out wide behind the fullbacks, and they're not using it. They're not shifting the ball quick enough in midfield. It's taking a long time to get from one portion of the pitch to the other. Too many passes happening. When they played away at City, they moved the ball quicker. They just played the ball into space. Now they're trying to find people in space.
They're trying to be too precise, do you think?
Yeah, without a doubt.
Paul Parker, the former Manchester United and England fullback, alongside me. Ali McCoy, the former Rangers manager and Scotland international forward, is alongside us as well, here on TalkSport, where we've played 27 minutes on TalkSport, and it's 1-0 to Arsenal. And here's Wan-Bissaka just motoring down the right side. He finds Lindelof, then James clips it back to Fred, who's the deepest of the Manchester United team, inside his own half. Over the halfway line comes Maguire. Maguire steps in towards the left, where it's collected now and sent on by Shaw. A little flick round the corner by Martial. Shaw can't get there. It's played against Maitland-Niles, and it's out for a throw-in.
Tell you what, I don't think anyone's seen Pepe work so hard. No. The man is he's been done well going forward, but defensively he's been absolutely brilliant.
Down to the manager. Matic, Rashford, Lingard, edge of the box. Martial taking over and trying to get into the area. Goes on the outside. Across comes Socrates and nudges it out. I think it's out for a throw-in, actually, down by the corner flag rather than a corner.
Not sure to give that thrown away. I thought he could have let it run through for a by kick, however.
Has been tossed in by Shaw and then given away rather cheaply by Manchester United. Lucas Herrera inside his own area tries to play out. Özil's been caught here from behind by Maguire. That was a clash of styles, that was, wasn't it, eh? Harry Maguire against Mesut Özil.
Which one looked really British?
I think it might have been the one that went right through the back of the other.
The one that's still standing up.
1-0 to Arsenal. Here is Lacazette trying to send it on in towards Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. It's cut away into the path of Maguire. Long raking pass out to the left, looking for Rashford, headed away by Maitland-Niles, who covered really well there and managed to match Rashford stride for stride, and it's cleared away by Arsenal, who lead by a goal to nil. A goal coming from Pepe. That goal coming in the 8th minute of the game. It was really well worked by Kolasinac down the left-hand side, but Harry Maguire far too deep. But it's not the first time this season that we've seen him just drop off and be a little bit further back than he should have been. Lacazette wanted a free kick. He's not getting that. And Manchester United still have the ball, and they're coming forward here. Down the right with Wan-Bissaka. Midway now inside the Arsenal half. It's cleared away by Özil. Took a little flick, I think, off a Manchester United body last, and it goes out for an Arsenal throw. There's so much more live football to come here on TalkSport, and including tomorrow, I'll be with Trevor Sinclair tomorrow night live at Anfield. Hugh Wozencroft is presenting the programme as Liverpool take on Sheffield United. Derby Barnsley at the same time is over on TalkSport 2. Rochdale Newcastle. I'm going back to Scotland. Me, Mark Saggers and Trevor Sinclair will be there on Saturday lunchtime as the FA Cup gets in to full swing. We've got 7 games for you live over the course of the weekend, including our exclusive commentary with Laura and Jim Proudfoot. Wolves against Manchester United. And then next week, I already mentioned this, that Arsenal leads on Monday night in the FA Cup, and then the 2 cup semi-finals from the Carabao Cup. Down the left, here's Lacazette moving into the box, producing a cross. It's cleared away. Back as far as Xhaka into the area, chested down by Pepe. Too much space, but he manages to lose it to Matic, who hacks it to halfway. Comes back again to Socrates, but Fred is the one who rescues it. Daniel James was free over on the right-hand side. They didn't find him, and it's cut out by David Luiz as he tries to get there ahead of Martial. Ali McCoy.
Paul's right. Manchester United, they're trying. It's too measured. Everything's what they wanted to. Precise with everything. They had a real opportunity there to go down the opposite flank with Daniel James. There was a real potential and a possibility of a counter-attack. They didn't take it.
Well, again, Daniel James was over on that far side, Paul, waving for the ball, and they weren't quick enough to get it to him.
Just surprised they're not looking at him first. They know he's the one with that early pace. And look, they've got to hit the ball into an area he can run into, and they haven't done that at all. I have to say, link play for Manchester United has been abysmal. Jesse Lingard hasn't touched the ball yet, I don't think. Has not touched the ball.
1-0 to Arsenal. Arsenal who desperately want to get back to winning ways here. It's been such a long time since they last tasted victory in this stadium in the Premier League, October the 6th. Wow. Here on the right side is Lacazette trying to twist away from Harry Maguire. He's got the better of Maguire, and his finish is really poor. Well, he turned inside him and got into the 6-yard box, went to get the shot away, showed good strength to get round Harry Maguire, but the finish wasn't good enough.
Absolutely. You called it perfectly. He shows great strength. I thought Maguire was favourite, but he actually turns him, uses his body really, really well, turns Maguire, works it onto his left foot, and probably should do better with a finish. He doesn't hit it cleanly at all.
I will say, though, that I want to say great turn, but I'll tell you what.
Luca Torreira into the area. That is a great turn. His shot is just narrowly wide. Brilliant move from Arsenal, quickly coming back at Manchester United. Luca Torreira inside the box, played in by Pepe. He controlled it first time, did a little pirouette on the edge of the area, sprang and turned and rifled the shot goalwards. It was only an inch wide of the post.
That was even better what I was going to talk about before. I mean, to see him that area as well, he hasn't done that for a long time. Pushed on. Him and Xhaka do not generally push on.
He does really well to get himself the little half yard, and in doing that, he probably should be hitting the target, but it's certainly all Arsenal at the moment.
Well, Arsenal have never lost 5 home games in a row, not in their history. The last time they were this bad, the UK was heading towards one of its most famous heat waves. Concorde took off for the first time. The Cod Wars were in full swing, and we were getting ready for our first taste of ABBA.
73.
1975-76.
Oh,
close. Here is Martial trying to get in ahead of Maitland-Niles, who does very well to nab it and turn it to halfway. Arsenal have possession again, trying to get away into the centre circle. And Lacazette is felled by a combination. It could have been any one of Matic, Fred or Lingard. All of them had a little go at him. In the end, I think Fred was the one who was penalised. It may have been Lingard. They both had a little nibble.
I think Fred was fouls 1, 3 and 4 involved in that sort of wee incident there.
Is a free kick to Arsenal, who lead by a goal to 0. Good ball by David Luiz out to the left, and Kolasinac. First time pass is blocked by Wan-Bissaka, who got over there very quickly and shut down the attempted cross. It goes out of play and away for a throw-in.
He's been excellent so far, open half hour. Kolasinac, I can't tell you how impressed they've been out in that left-hand side.
And they missed him for a while. He's been out since December the 15th with an ankle injury. It's his first return today, and he's had an integral role in the first goal here at the Emirates Stadium, where Arsenal lead. Maitland-Niles on the right for Arsenal, coming forward once again. Here is Pepe, just slowing things down, teasing Luke Shaw, threatening to go on the outside. He comes infield instead, and Maitland-Niles has it. Back to Pepe once more. Özil's on the right side. Pepe coming forward. Good take in by Lacazette. Back into Pepe. Back wide to the left. They're in the area now with Aubameyang. Then Kolasinac, cross takes a deflection into the air. Özil's underneath it, ducks away from it. I'm not sure entirely why the referee blew his whistle. Was there a...
There was a shove in the back.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, to be perfectly honest.
By Özil, who just sort of dipped down, didn't he, and sort of seemed to move away from the ball and into Luke Shaw's backside, and that's going to be a free kick.
Absolutely, the referee got it spot on, free kick. I think for me the biggest difference in both sides actually is when they don't have the ball. I know Arsenal have been excellent when they have it, but when they don't have it, they've been miles better than Manchester United when they don't have it, going to get the ball back.
I mean, it wasn't a real shove, was it? I mean, it was Mesut Özil and Luke Shaw.
Oh, come on, Sam, it was a free kick. I mean, just because you're 5'4" doesn't mean you can't give away free kicks. Is that what you're saying to me now?
Please don't bring height into it.
Hey, it's the first time in a very long time that I've been the tallest in the 3-man commentary team. You two can come again. Stuart who? Here is Martial down the left-hand side for Manchester United. 10 minutes to go before the break. He tries to skip down into the wing position on the left. Doesn't get the cross in because Socrates comes across and shuffles it out of play. And it's out for a throw. Pepe taking it into his body and trying to turn. He's surrounded by Martial and Rashford, and Martial is penalised. What Manchester United are going to do in the second half here? You're Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, you're making notes, you're trying to think about how to plot a change at half-time, not necessarily personnel but tactical. What are you saying?
Well, I think I'm going to say the most obvious thing is that you'll ask your players to come out, first of all, because they're not out there. None of them out there are actually defending poorly. There's nothing happening in midfield. Creativity has been very, very poor. And I want to turn around and say something about the front three, but you can't really, because they haven't been given the ball to chase. They haven't been allowed to get the ball into their feet, because the link-up play has been very poor from midfield as well.
I suppose the one problem for Arsenal is that they're only 1-0 ahead. Ali.
Correct. And that's where they deserve to be, but they've had certainly chances to extend that lead. But the difference, I mean, I'm watching Arsenal going about their business. When they lose it, immediately they go and get it back with a pace, with an aggression, whereas Manchester United are there's not a lot of life about them. They're just letting Arsenal play passes. Pepe, Maitland-Niles here on the right, Aubameyang, Kolasinac on the left hand side. There's no real aggression to go and get the ball back. What's the difference with Arsenal? Look.
Yep, straight over. Across goes Kolasinac, shuts down Wan-Bissaka, pushes him in the back. The ball goes dead because it was a foul by Kolasinac, but they didn't allow Manchester United to play out from the back, which is the key thing. You're listening to Arsenal 1, Manchester United 0 on TalkSport with Nissan commercial vehicles built to deliver. Here's Paul Parker.
We're just seeing now what Arsenal are doing now. Normally teams let Manchester United have the ball at the back.
Here's Pepe infield after they've given the ball away. He shoots and hits the post, comes back to Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, who loops it in towards the near stick. It's punched away by David De Gea and Manchester United clear. But that was really poor from Manchester United again. Good press from Arsenal. They turned the ball over. Pepe got it and he's hit the post.
They don't really have to press that hard because United are so poor in possession at the back. They look jittery. There's no confidence at all, and they're giving that ball away so cheaply. And Pepe, he goes and scores that. That would have just summed up United's first half.
Again, David De Gea, a poor error by him, Ali.
Sam, what's he thinking about? I mean, it's a shocking ball out, and Pepe comes in. It's interesting to see it again because once it comes off the post, my first reaction was Aubameyang had to finish it, but for some reason he tried to knock it back across the face of the goal. Maybe it was a difficult one to take, but really poor defensively again from United.
Lingard trying to send it round the right to Daniel James, who's just brushed off the ball by Said Kolasinac. Let's have a look at that again. He's in the right corner of his own area and he plays it across the face of his own goal diagonally straight to Pepe. I'm not entirely sure as to who he was aiming at.
No, it was a poor decision to hit it across, especially when the player's coming from that side. He should have just kept to that side of the field.
It's a great effort from Pepe actually, because he's slightly off balance. Does ever so well.
Manchester United are slightly off balance here with 6 minutes to go before the break. They trail by a goal to nil. Here's Özil, brilliant balance to get it down the right. Lacazette now in the wing position, produces a cross. Pepe coming in the centre, it eludes him. Aubameyang keeps it alive the other side, back into the feet of Özil, but it's nicked away by Victor Lindelof actually, and it's cleared away, but only as far as Xhaka. Xhaka midway inside the Manchester United half, is knocked to the floor and wants a free kick. The referee's not going to give him one. It comes back in field now, where it's collected by Torreira and goes all the way back to David Luiz. And Arsenal continue just to have quite a strong grip on the proceedings so far. They lead courtesy of Pepe's goal, and they had threatened to extend that lead.
Oh, what a ball it is. What a tremendous ball it is from Lacazette. And unfortunately it was the other way about. If Lacazette was in the middle, I expected him, he'd have been the end of it and maybe finished it, but it was a great ball in behind. It's one of the favourite balls for a centre forward, wrong side of the defender in front of the goalkeeper. They're facing their own goal, but Pepe didn't gamble, but a brilliant ball again in from Lacazette here on the right hand side.
United have been lucky, Paul Parker, that it's not 2-0.
I think they're lucky it hasn't been 3-0 by the way. They should be. I mean, they're behind because they deserve to be behind, and there's a lot of work that's got to be done at half time. You might even have to change it slightly as well, because at the moment Jesse Lingard isn't doing anything in that role. He's a complete waste, so I just think he might have to change it and maybe bring on young Mason Greenwood.
Well, Manchester United have only lost one of the last 9 Premier League matches, and to think that going into the start of the month, Spurs and Manchester City on the horizon, there was a panic over Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's participation as the manager of Manchester United. 2 games to save his job. It was obviously very different now. Only Liverpool earned more points in the Premier League in December than Manchester United's 14. But let's be clear about it. Today they've been distinctly second best in this first 41 and a half minutes.
No, they're not at it at all, opening 45 minutes. I mean, Arsenal, you boys have correctly said, should on chances created should be 2 or 3 up.
Maitland-Niles down the right, galloping forward, poor cross into the centre, which is easily pushed behind by Maguire. Well, he got into a great position there, Maitland-Niles, didn't make the most of it, got into the right wing area of the field, galloped into an advanced position, loads of space, His cross was really average.
It was a poor cross, but how does Ozil get the ball on the halfway line and allow to turn as slow as you like and clipped a wonderful ball in? Why isn't he being pressed by Fred or Matic?
It's worth mentioning as well there, I think Maguire played Maitland-Niles on there. And again, he was at least a yard and a half defensively south, and Lindelof again getting caught out of position.
Here is the corner to be taken by Pepe on the near touchline for Arsenal. 1-0 they lead going into half time. Flicked by Lacazette, saved by the goalkeeper, comes back to Socrates who lashes it home, and it's 2-0 to Arsenal against Manchester United on the stroke of half time. A corner into the near post which was flicked on by Lacazette, saved by David De Gea, and Socrates was there to thunder the ball in. And Mikel Arteta is smiling. The Mikel magic is working, and Arsenal are 2-0 up against Manchester United.
Well, I think we have to say that ball going in the near post was a wonderful ball in and difficult to defend against, but look how many Manchester United players are around there. Look at the Arsenal players. There's two of them standing there not being marked at the front of the near post.
That's shocking defending again. I mean, I think it's Lacazette that goes front post, gets a flick on it. De Gea plays it back into his own 6-yard box. It comes off Lindelof and it's smashed into the net by Socrates. 2-0. You've got to be honest, lads, no more than Arsenal deserve.
Yeah. Just reward for their performance in the game so far for Arsenal, and Socrates scores with only their second attempt on target in the game, but significantly the scoreline reads Arsenal 2, Manchester United 0. And bearing in mind that on Sunday, for all of the good performance that everyone was talking about that Arsenal had, they only had 2 shots on target in the entire game and none after the 13th minute.
Yeah, that's something we all see things differently, and then you just saw Arsenal with a lot of the ball. Obviously, it was all about scoring goals. They never actually got enough against Chelsea.
Pepe down the right, played in towards Lacazette, cut out by Lindelof. Manchester United look a little bit cream-crackered here and look a bit off the pace and disorientated, and Arsenal has certainly been the sprightlier of the two teams here. Luca Torreira, back to David Luiz. They're in control. They've got a hold on this match, and they've got Manchester United right where they want them, and the Arsenal fans who have been starved of so much success over the last 10 years are standing as one and screaming as they have to defend now as Rashford breaks down the left, comes in on his right foot, across comes Granit Xhaka and gets the ball away, and it's out of play on this near side.
I don't know if that was whether that was poor play or was it great defending, but he went inside Marcus Rashford straight into Xhaka. He should have used the space on the outside.
I fancied him to do that. I thought he was going to dip inside, go outside and get a shot away. But listen, the atmosphere, I could say to you boys, the one thing, the way Arsenal are playing this game at this moment in time, the Arsenal players in that park are creating this atmosphere within the stadium. Their supporters can see they're going about it, the energy that they're putting into the first 45 minutes, and the supporters are actually feeding off it and giving the Arsenal team the support they deserve. The place is rocking.
Yeah. And it's rocking because of the graft, the intention, the intensity, the drive, the discipline, the shape of this Arsenal team. So much closer together, so much more of a unit than we've seen them over the course of the last, 7-8 years? I mean, they look like a team.
They do. I mean, it's the best 45 minutes I've seen for a long time from Arsenal.
Totally. I couldn't agree more, Paul. They've been excellent for 45 minutes.
Fred gets it on halfway for Manchester United. 1 minute at a time at the end of the first 45. Live on TalkSport as we continue our 10 games of the new year. Tomorrow we've got Liverpool Sheffield United to finish it off. But this one's finishing off today, and what a day it has been. Laura will round it up at half-time as Martial darts down the left, tries to get in past David Luiz, who seems to be on it today. And he steps in front of Anthony Martial and clears back to Leno. Not a great clearance from the German goalkeeper. And then Kolasinac with a mindless foul over on the far side. And now on the stroke of half-time, Arsenal have given away a free kick in a dangerous position.
It's a crazy free kick. James is actually doing well. If he can keep the ball in play, he's just going to shield it. Facing away from the goal, facing the stand. Daft.
It was mindless what he was doing now.
What if they score from here?
Well, you'll have to look at him. It's just ridiculous. That would sum up Arsenal, really, how it's been for them.
Yeah. Here is the free kick then, over on the far side. And Wan-Bissaka is standing to the left a bit. Fred will take the free kick. It's deep towards the far post. Harry Maguire with a header down, a free header down, and it's saved by Bernd Leno, and it's straight at him, and that's a massive let-off. Massive let-off.
I think he should probably score. It's a great ball to the back post. Clearly a rehearsed free kick. And Maguire finds himself alone at the back post, heads it straight to the goalkeeper. I'm not sure it would have given a fair reflection on the first half, though.
It would have helped. United would have taken it and said they've been fantastic, as long as no one's seen them play. But he should have scored, Maguire, with that header. It was absolutely perfect for him to go and score his first goal for Manchester United.
New year, new you. Well, Arsenal have been in front before under the new manager, and you will remember all too well what happened after the break. Will they be able to hold on to this lead against Manchester United? Well, no team has ever won more Premier League games on New Year's Day than Arsenal, and thanks to Pepe and Socrates, they're in the lead at half-time. Arsenal 2, Manchester United 0. Thank you, Laura. Welcome back to the gantry, where there are no changes at half-time, and Arsenal with a victory can move into the top 10 if they get all 3 points here today. 59% possession in the first half, 7 shots on goal, 3 of them on target, 2 of them beyond David De Gea, who had another poor effort, I think, in that first 45 minutes. A couple of big mistakes from him, not for the first time. And Manchester United have got to come back from 2 goals down. They were brilliant in the game against Arsenal a couple of years ago here under Jose Mourinho, or December 2017, when they won with goals on the counter-attack from Sanchez and 2 from Jesse Lingard, who's been anonymous in that first 45 minutes. And David De Gea on that day made 14 saves. I think some of the problems that Manchester United have got is he's probably made about 14 saves since.
No, absolutely. He's definitely... Well, he's not been the same goalkeeper.
He hasn't, has he?
No, he's not been.
Why?
Well, I've got absolutely no idea. And I was fortunate enough to see the highlights of the first half there again. And he should do better, particularly the second goal. I know there's a flick on from Lacazette, Sam, but there's not a lot of power or pace on it, and he probably should take it a lot more comfortably. And what he does, he knocks out into his own 6-yard box effectively for Socrates to finish.
Manchester United shooting from left to right in this second half, and Arsenal, the home team, in red-bodied jerseys, white sleeves and white shorts and socks, shooting from right to left. They start with Leno in goal, then it's Maitland-Niles, Luiz, Socrates and Krasnach who's been booked, Xhaka and Torreira, then Pepe, Aubameyang and Özil behind Lacazette in attack. There's a free kick for Lacazette, who's 10 yards inside the Arsenal half on this near side. Manchester United in black shirts with a luminous trim, a luminous pink trim. David De Gea in goal, Wan-Bissaka, Lindelof, Maguire and Shaw, then Fred and Matic, James, Lingard and Rashford behind Martial in attack. And it's 2-0 to Arsenal at half-time. Paul Parker for Manchester United, fullback is alongside me, and Ali McCoy's today. Sam Matterface in the commentary box. What have Manchester United got to do differently?
I think first and foremost, get hold of the ball and try and retain it a little bit longer, and then they can try and bring other people into the game. At the moment, they have not done that. Anything attacking wise, I don't think they've put 3 passes together. They've been shocking in the attacking third.
With the exception of maybe James, who's tried to get forward, he's tried to use his pace. I mean, as I said, see, the big difference between the sides actually been Arsenal when they don't have the ball, with the pressing and the energy that they're showing, is lifting the whole stadium, and they in particular look a different team. But Paul's right, for Manchester United themselves back in the game, I don't think it'll be long before we see a substitution, actually, to be honest with you, because they have been pretty ineffective. And I was looking forward to watching them, the 4 front boys going forward, but they've been pretty ineffective.
Here is Maguire over the halfway line for Manchester United, looking for Shaw into Fred, and then it's on to Martial, forward to Rashford, can't connect with the pass, it goes straight through past him, siding across the floor at a rapid velocity into the arms of the goalkeeper Bernd Leno, wearing blue today, away to our right hand side. Arsenal 2, Manchester United 0 on TalkSport, and the goals coming from Socrates just before half-time from a well-worked corner, and Nicolas Pepe. Arsenal just dicing with death a little bit, playing around with it on the edge of their own penalty area, and then threatening to give the ball away, and almost Aaron Wan-Bissaka keeping it in on this near side. But that's what Arsenal don't need to do.
No, they did try a little bit too hard, a little bit tight, but in a way they got away with it in the end. It looks good because they got away with it. But the one thing I just saw there with that pass, I just saw a pass there, Martial tried to play a pass through. They squeezed together as a four, and there was no holes for Marcus Rashford to run into. Again, I say it, defensively, they have vastly improved.
Well, it shouldn't be as easy as that for anyone to turn a team around that quickly, should it? I mean, because ultimately then the issue is quite clearly to do with motivation and application. Here's Pepe, who's skipping away past two black shirts and into the right wing position. Comes into Fred, who's hounded immediately by three Arsenal jerseys. He's guided back by Lindelof into the goalkeeper, who looks nervous. He clears away to the left-hand side. And then the ball is picked up over on the far side by Maguire. They want a foul over there. They're not going to get it. Ali McCoist.
Yeah, I think what you're trying to point at, Sam, and you're 100% right, the biggest difference in Arsenal is nothing tactical. It's energy. That's the big difference. If you ask the Arsenal support, listen to them, because their team are giving them something to cheer about and something to look forward to, and because the pressure that they're putting on the ball when they don't have it, and the energy levels that they're showing when they do have it going forward, are in complete contrast. Of course they've been tweaked tactically, we can see that, there's no doubt about it. As I mentioned, the boys hitting the touchline all the time. What Arteta's doing for me when Arsenal have the ball, he's making the pitch as big as possible. That's what he's doing. So look, there've been little tweaks here and there tactically, but for me the biggest difference is just an energy level.
2-0 to Arsenal, and you're listening to TalkSport, and we're live here at the Emirates Stadium, and it is quite a chilly night. There's a lot of hot drinks being consumed all around the press box, steam rising off of coffees and teas as the second half gets underway. Ali McCoist and Paul Parker. Here is Matic out to the left, looking for Shaw. Moves it on towards Marcus Rashford, who lost the ball initially, then gave up the chase to protest about the fact that he'd lost the ball initially, then fought back and won it back for Manchester United, but then Arsenal managed to clear up towards the halfway line. 51 minutes on the clock. And remember, there's so much more football to come on TalkSport over the course of the next few days, including 7 games from the FA Cup, Liverpool, Sheffield United tomorrow in the Premier League, then 7 games from the FA Cup over the weekend, including our exclusive commentary, Wolves against Manchester United. Tuesday night, Manchester United against Manchester City in the Carabao Cup semi-final. I'll be there with Trevor Sinclair. And on Wednesday night, Dean Ashton and I will go down to the King Power Stadium for Leicester against Aston Villa in that same competition. Here on this right side is James, trying to turn away from Kolasinac, who has already been booked and has to be a little bit careful because he gave a foul away right at the end of that first half as well. And after being so positive in the first 45 minutes, the last thing he wants to do is to cost his team and rob them of a man.
No, clearly that would be crazy, because I actually think he's been the best player in the park for the opening 45 minutes. I would go that far. I've been really impressed with him in this left back position, getting himself forward, taking part in the game. But you're absolutely right, he gave away the foul on James in the first couple of minutes, and you wouldn't say he's walking the tightrope since then, but he clearly has to be very, very careful. Here's Martial trying to turn as he runs into the Arsenal half of the field. He's got support on the near side, the right for Lingard. Lingard to shoot, it's blocked by David Luiz and it's cleared into the air. Wan-Bissaka forward again, away by Aubameyang. Wan-Bissaka wins it right side of the Manchester United attack. Peter Wright is the world champion of the PDC darts. He wins the 2019-20 World Darts Championship to lift the title for the very first time. An incredible final over on TalkSport 2. He beat Michael van Gerwen. Here is Wan-Bissaka. Infield to Matic. It's half cleared by Arsenal. And then maybe they can catch Manchester United on the counter-attack here with Aubameyang speeding away to the left. It's a poor pass by him, and it's cut out by Luke Shaw, and it goes all the way back to the goalkeeper David De Gea. And that's the one thing that Manchester United have to be really careful about, Paul Parker, when they are going forward and trying to get themselves back into this game. It's the gaps that they leave behind them.
Well, they're going to leave gaps. They're 2-0 down, but what they have to do is when they do get in good areas, they've got to believe that they can go and score a goal. When Wan-Bissaka gets that ball, he looks up. Everyone's level with him. There's not one of them making a run or in that box.
James from Rashford. James flips a shot towards the near post, trying to catch Leno out. It takes a little deflection through the inside of the legs of Kolasinac and just squeezes towards the left. It's dropped on by Leno, who makes the save, and Manchester United failed to penetrate the Arsenal goal. 2-0 Arsenal lead.
He tried that, Sam. I tell you right now, he tried that. I was looking at it and he saw Kolasinac with his legs slightly ajar, not even open.
Arsenal play the ball back dangerously to Leno, who gives everybody of an Arsenal persuasion inside this part of the ground a heart attack by slicing his clearance into David Luiz.
You could just feel it, couldn't you? Really good.
Özil out wide to Kolasinac. He of course made that huge mistake in the game against Chelsea, which swung the pendulum in Chelsea's favour in that game, from which then I don't think Arsenal really recovered. Back here tonight on this Wednesday. Is it Wednesday? It is Wednesday evening, New Year's Day. Happy New Year to you all.
There is a tendency to lose track of days.
Yes.
With you.
And it's not just because of the overconsumption of a certain liquid. Here is...
but that does play a part in it.
For you, maybe. Sure. Into Fred. Fred, who's 30 yards from goal, he shoots, but it's an easy save for Leno. And I just looked at the bench here, and I think that Manchester United are going to make a double change. Mason Greenwood and Andreas Pereira are getting stripped off here, and I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is going to bring them both in, Paul Parker.
Well, I knew he had to make one, and I think the obvious one for me has to be Lingard, because that just hasn't worked at all. And if you're looking across that line as well, if you're talking about Greenwood coming on, you have to be looking at maybe Martial or Rashford. But I think it'll have to be Martial more than anything.
Be interesting to see what he does here, because he could sacrifice a defensive midfield player, but that would be dangerous, wouldn't it?
Yes, but I actually got a wee sneaky, that's what he might do. It wouldn't surprise me to see one of them coming off. I know you run the risk it could be 3 or 4, but at the same time you've got to try and get something out of the game.
2-0 they trail here, 10 minutes into the second half. But Manchester United had a bit more of the ball in this second half. It's what they do with it now that counts. Lingard can't control it. Xhaka holding him off as he tries to wrestle it back. Fred nips in. Referee's given the free kick against Lingard for holding onto his arm. Xhaka's asking for a yellow card which he's not going to get, and it is going to be an opportunity for Manchester United. I thought they were going to make the change then. They quickly went out with the ball, and then they've decided that they're not quite ready for it yet, and Greenwood and Andreas Pereira are just getting their final instructions. In fact, Mason Greenwood is flipping through one of those display books with the special the sort of the plasticky covers, the leaves that you can stick paper into. I thought we used iPads now. Here is Lacazette running over the halfway line towards the left. Fred putting himself about, wins the ball back, then somehow wins a foul. It's a bit of coming together really more than anything else, but Chris Kavanagh has been a little bit generous to Manchester United, and they have the ball deep inside their own territory. 57 on the clock. 2-0 on TalkSport as part of the 10 games of New Year. We've brought you every single game today on TalkSport, TalkSport 2 and the TalkSport app. Tomorrow Liverpool-Sheffield United completes the set. Rashford's just made a really good run into space in between Luiz and Socrates, and somehow the ball's just floated out of play over on the far side.
Well, that comes about Harry Maguire is on his left side. He seems to want to like play now. He can't hit the ball off his left side. He won't use his left foot to play the long game, and it needed a left foot there, or someone confident with a left foot to put that ball in the area.
Dan James is coming off, so is Jesse Lingard, and Pereira and Greenwood coming on. Paul Parker.
Well, I mean, I'm surprised that it's Dan James, because he is most the one who's been their best attack, or the biggest threat for Manchester United. I'm really surprised he's gone and done that. I don't think that will go down too well with the supporters.
I'm with you. I've got to say that was a surprising one for me. I thought the only one at the front four that looked to give anything was James. He looked lively. Clearly wasn't at his best, but any time he got the ball, he tried to be direct, he tried to be positive.
Wan-Bissaka. Mason Greenwood gets his first touch, a man who has scored regularly recently. His 24th appearance of the season, 8 goals this season. He scored key goals recently against Sheffield United, against Everton, against Newcastle United. Here comes Martial out towards the left side. Approaching the hour mark now here at the Emirates Stadium in North London. A little back heel from Matic, almost released Andreas Pereira. Matic has got it back again. Not great defending by Arsenal. He's come in field. He's still got hold of it. He's stuck to him like glue. He's played it down the left, and Pereira's got a great chance to rifle it in, and he's hit the side netting. And there were a few Manchester United fans over on the far side that thought that was a goal, and there's a few Arsenal fans on this near side of making them feel a little bit silly about that with a few ironic cheers. But it was a great chance and a warning to Arsenal, I think.
Oh, without doubt. They haven't come out the second half the way they started the first half. But I have to say, Matic was brilliant in that tight situation, kept the ball for so long, and he plays a lovely little ball inside for Pereira. He's the last one, I think, you'd want to be in that position. It just needed a goal scorer there more than anything to be in that position, who might have hit across the goal rather than at the near post.
Do you know who does well, actually? Socrates does excellent work getting back, and I think he just puts a hand on Pereira's shoulder and makes him lose balance a little bit, and it goes high and wide at the near post. But certainly their best opportunity, I thought, of the game so far.
Still 2-0 to Arsenal on TalkSport, but Manchester United just a little bit better. A few green shoots of recovery in this second half. They trail by 2-0 at half-time, but Leno's just given the ball away again, and here is Wan-Bissaka. Pereira looking to thread it through to Martial, doesn't quite come off for him, and it's cleared away from deep inside the Arsenal half by Maitland-Niles. Up to Özil. Pepe beaten to it by Shaw. Shaw out to Fred, and Fred comes forward now. Shaw goes on into the left wing position. Manchester United on the attack now, being called forward by their team. Into Martial inside the area, miscontrolled it terribly. Would have been a great chance.
It was a great chance. There was an over there. The ball's come across square along the lot, across the edge of the area, and he overs it, Rashford, for Martial. It needed to go first time. He has that first touch and he kills the movement then, and even then his touch was poor as well after that.
Good opportunity, Ali.
I tell you, I know it's very early since the substitutions have made, but the difference you can see is incredible. They just got a little bit more energy. And Pereira certainly looks to have made a difference, and Paul's right. It's a lovely over there from Rashford. Martial should probably have taken a touch and hit it earlier, but they certainly look a little bit livelier.
Pepe has been dispossessed again by Luke Shaw. That's twice in a matter of moments. Back in field to Matic. Matic inside the centre circle, being harangued by Alexandre Lacazette, who helped make the second and could be key goal in this game. Shaw then dispossessed by Lacazette, and Özil races clear. Space on the left for Aubameyang, who collects it now in from the left side. It's in the area, right-footed ball in towards the near post. It touches Lacazette and goes behind and away for a goal kick, and that was another good chance for Arsenal.
And that come about because of Luke Shaw. Luke Shaw gets caught in possession, throws himself to the floor to try and win a foul. Stay on your feet and try and win the ball back.
And you're listening to Arsenal 2, Manchester United 0 on TalkSport with Now TV. Don't forget you can watch all 11 Sky Sports channels for a one-off payment of just $9.99. And Reece Nelson is about to come on for Arsenal. Left out of the team today, started against Chelsea on Sunday, and he is going to replace Nicolas Pepe, who is supposed to go off on the far side, and Maguire is telling him that, and now the referee is. Pepe's not too happy about that instruction.
I have to say, I'm not sure about this new rule. Having watched the referee ask Steve Davis to go off in the Rangers-Celtic game away at the opposite end of the stadium, I have my doubts about this.
Well, when we did Portsmouth-Southampton, there was a request made to the officials for them not to enforce that rule because of that reason.
Absolutely.
You would have thought in the old firm they would have thought about a little bit more pragmatically.
I would have thought, yes, a little bit of sanity might have been the call of the day there, but no, sadly not.
Also, the other issue with it is that Pepe has to walk from the far side round towards this side. Meanwhile, still in his full kit, he is quite a distraction.
Absolutely. And I know it's all hypothetical, but if they get level an offside decision, the linesman looking across, you never know.
Here is Lindelof circling Özil. He's in the centre circle now, 63 gone. So Pepe off and Reece Nelson is on in his place. Shaw has it on the far side. You're listening to TalkSport. Peter Wright is the PDC World Darts Champion. You would have heard it live over on TalkSport 2.
And I'm delighted with that.
You're happy, aren't you?
Yes.
When you saw it, you gave a little fist pump.
I did. Old Snakebite Wright does the business.
Ball far side, picked up by Anthony Martial. He's halfway inside the Arsenal half of the field. He nudges it onto Shaw, gets it back again. Martial tries to get into the area, bounds past 2 challenges and a third and a fourth, tries to square it back for Rashford, should lay it back to Fred, doesn't, instead goes to Pereira, who dances his way into the area. Rashford with a shot from the far side, clips it over the top of the crossbar, and it goes out and away for a goal kick away to our right. But Manchester United are ramping up the pressure, and if they were a little bit more prudent with taking their chances, they could be back in this game.
Yeah, it's just decision making in the final area. They're just getting it wrong. It just needed someone to shoot at that point, just to have a shot. And we have to say as well is that the Arsenal fans are feeling it a little bit as well. They're not as loud, and every time United get on the ball, you can just feel it. They're a little bit concerned at this moment in time.
That ovation, by the way, is for Pepe reaching this side of the ground. He's got here. Well done, mate. You can take his seat now.
He should have had a jog and had a little warm down while he was doing it.
Adam and a legend in here, if that's the applause the substitutes get for walking off the park, man. They love me down here, mate.
We love you down here anyway.
Getting back to that chance, it was kind of messy. I think the difference is clearly the substitutions so far have given Manchester United a lot more life, but Rashford actually should have done better with the final opportunity, because the final effort at goal was really poor.
One of the things that's really interesting is that we've seen less of the likes of Kolasinac, especially going forward, because Greenwood is occupying his mind now. He doesn't really know what he should be doing, because he's slightly scared about Greenwood running off him into an advanced position. Torreira on to Nelson for Arsenal coming forward. They lead by 2-0 on TalkSport under the floodlights here on a rather crisp evening in North London, and Arsenal looking for their first home win under Mikel Arteta, their first home win in the Premier League since the beginning of October. They have lost their last 4 matches here. Never have they lost 5 home games in a row.
That's unbelievable, actually. It really is.
Yep.
Incredible statistic. It's
become a place which people like to come and play their football. Not tonight for Manchester United, though. They trail by 2-0. They had the opportunity to close the gap on Chelsea in 4th position if they'd won here today, but at the moment that looks unlikely. Wan-Bissaka comes up towards the halfway line, and he's beaten to it by Lacazette. Özil, Lacazette and Kolasinac all fought Mason Greenwood for the ball on the halfway line.
There's another first.
A rare sight indeed as Lindelof shuffles the ball back to his goalkeeper. All the Arsenal fans now are on their feet. Listen to the noise of the Arsenal fans. The word Arsenal reverberates around the Emirates. There's a proud look on some of their number, because they know that this is a very different Arsenal performance once again. It's not over yet, though. 25 to go.
But that's what I'm saying to you, Sam. I mean, guys, there's nothing technical about that, or tactical for that matter. That is just having a word with your players, getting them organised and saying, look, this is how we press when we don't have the ball.
Well, they have conceded at least twice in each of their last 5 games at the Emirates Stadium. So no one's counting their chickens just yet in Arsenal red. The ball is out of play on this near side in the left full-back position, and Kolasinac will come across to take it. You're listening to TalkSport, and here is Kolasinac coming over to the ball boy. Mikel Arteta hasn't picked up any ball boys yet, has he? I mean, that's what you do now when you get a managerial job. It's like you've got a little checklist. It's like, make sure you dress like Pep, play out from the back, score goal, grab ball boy.
I think the greatest respect to Arteta, he'll need to get himself in the gym for a couple of months before he's lifting any ball boys.
Here is Matic for Manchester United, over halfway. Sends it wide to the left. Pereira onto Shaw, darts forward into an advanced position on the right edge of the area. It's away by Maitland-Niles. There's going to be another substitution here, and Bukayo Saka is about to come on. He was the left back in the game on Sunday afternoon against Chelsea. He's being switched out. And it looks like Kolasinac, who we did wonder about in the end of the first half, picked up a sort of like a bit of an injury.
Well, he clearly limped over to when he was taking that throw in there a couple of minutes ago. And then what happens? Your mate passes you the ball, and it's the last thing you need. Look at this.
It was a right hospital pass as well, wasn't it? He had to go backwards rather than forwards to receive it. He did manage to get it away, and it goes out for a throw on this near side. But he can hardly move. He's got an ankle issue. That's what's kept him out for the last 3 months.
He could have just gone off the pitch. He's got walked onto the pitch and then fallen down.
That's good. That's just professional behaviour, isn't it? That's what you all do. Don't tell me you didn't try something like that in the World Cup semi-final. of 1990.
If I'd have done, I might have done people a favour and said stay off.
Here's the change. Kolasinac coming off. Oh, he seems to be moving a little bit better now.
Yeah.
And Bukayo Saka comes on. And that will just add a little bit more pace into that, or a freshness into that area where Kolasinac had probably, after being out for a couple of games, had just sort of tired a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. I said I thought he was excellent first time, maybe the best player in the park, first 45 minutes. But the way United have come out second half, particularly after the substitutions, they've played a lot better and he hasn't got himself forward. And neither is Maitland-Niles on the other side. So, you know, United, without being a real threat, they've only 2 wee chances. They've certainly played better in the second half.
Well, certainly they've relied heavily on 2 players in good form, Manchester United, but those 2 players, Marcus Rashford, who has 12 goals and 4 assists in his 20 Premier League matches this season, and Anthony Martial, who similarly has been in terrific form, directly involved in 10 goals in his last 13 Premier League games. Haven't clicked just yet, but here they come into the area. Oh, Fred got there ahead of Bukayo Saka, and then it's on to Wan-Bissaka, goes down, wants a penalty. Looked like it was a bit of an over-elaborate movement, but the VAR is going to check it right on the edge of the penalty area here. There was a challenge on Wan-Bissaka. The ball came out towards Bukayo Saka, sent back by Fred to the edge of the area, and then Aubameyang with a wafty left foot. I don't think they're going to overturn this, do you?
No, absolutely no way. I think it's a dive. I think he's lucky not to get a yellow card, to be honest with you.
He should get a yellow card for that. I'm sorry to say that, but it just looked so premeditated.
Absolutely, Paul.
Yes, it was a bit Tom Daly.
Good call.
No?
Yep.
Diving knowledge.
Yes, and fresh.
Don't ask me for another one.
Well, I'll give you one. Greg Louganis.
Yes. He hurt his head, didn't he?
He did hit his head in the boat.
He did.
Absolutely. Which isn't ideal for a diver.
No, not at all. Here is Bernd Leno
about that noise.
kicking clear out towards the near side.
You certainly lose a couple of points the way down to get your head
and
off
you
the
thought
boat.
Grandad's Christmas chat was over, folks.
My diving coach, the first thing he installed into me, he said, "Ali, whatever you do, don't get your head off the board on the way down."
The ball has been worked out towards the far side. Maguire stepping forward, moves in infield, gives it to Wan-Bissaka. Wan-Bissaka takes it on. 2-0 to Arsenal here. Wan-Bissaka trying to drag them back in, overhits the ball as he goes down the side of Saka, and out of play and away for a goal kick. Now, look, we've got 19 minutes to go here. Manchester United are on top in this game. There will be Arsenal fans who were inside this stadium just 3 short days ago going, hold on a second, there's 19 minutes left there. We know what happened on Sunday. We've got to make sure it doesn't happen again. How do they ensure it doesn't happen again?
Well, they virtually maybe not go too far with this playing out from the back and put themselves in danger straight away, but they've just got to carry on maybe
they've done it. They've given
better.
the ball away halfway inside their own half, and Fred's got it on towards Greenwood. Greenwood tries to jink infield, left-footed, drives the ball across to Matic, who's being pursued by Nelson, who goes to grab, but Matic keeps his feet, moves down the left towards the byline, looks to get the cross, and it's blocked, and it goes out and away for a corner over on the far side. And this chance has come because Arsenal tried to play out from the back, and they were being taking far too many risks with it.
Just look at it. It's needless sometimes to go and do that. You're winning the game in the position you're in. Get the ball a little bit higher.
Corner deep towards the far post. Lindelof rises from Pereira's delivery. It bounces out towards the near touchline. Received by Fred. Fred tries to take on Saka. Goes out of play. It's a Manchester United throw deep inside Arsenal territory. 2-0 to Arsenal here. Aubameyang back helping out as a double left back.
Listen, guys, it's inevitable when you're 2-0 up. The opposition are going to have some of the ball and come and have a go at you. The most important thing from Arsenal's point of view, you're asking me what do they have to do? They have to concentrate and they have to defend, which they have been doing. You look at the goals they lost against Chelsea, particularly the first one.
Great touch by Martial onto Greenwood inside the area, left-footed drive towards the near post, and Bernd Leno goes down and just about gets across and keeps it out.
I mean, you have to say as well, that was the strike. The strike from Greenwood is what he's all about. He hits things early and nearly caught Leno out, by the way, at the near post.
You're listening to Arsenal 2, Manchester United 0 on TalkSport with Nissan. Commercial vehicles built to deliver. 17 to go. The ball sent long towards Nelson, who's ended up falling over as Lindelof comes and tidies up for Manchester United, who have had a lot more of the ball in the second half and a few more chances as well. And here they come again, dancing down the right with the twinkle-toed Mason Greenwood onto Fred, clipped over towards the right. Here is Wan-Bissaka attending on the right side. And now Martial needs some support. Wan-Bissaka turns away from Aubameyang, gets the cross in. It's a dangerous one. Rashford is coming in. Socrates is there, heads it behind. It's out for a corner. Socrates wanted a foul. Not getting it.
That was a lovely play that was by Wan-Bissaka. That's the first cross from a fullback for Manchester United in this game. First time a fullback's got anywhere near the byline.
Fred to take the corner from the near side. Rashford, Martial and Socrates going head-to-head inside the area, having a little bit of a discussion. And now Chris Kavanagh says, well, if you want to have a chat, why don't you come over here and have a chat and I'll arbitrate. I think he's decided just to try and cool things down between the two of them. Mason Greenwood, who did have that good effort, has scored 4 in his last 5 games. That does give Manchester United a little bit of variation off the bench. He's in the area now as the cross comes in. It's punched away by Leno. Did get contact on it this time. Shaw, low ball into the box. Steered away by Socrates, who's helping back there. Arsenal have got to be unwavering. They have to be unyielding here. They've got to keep Manchester United out. If they concede one, you know what's coming. Here's Fred on the near touchline, tossing the ball into the box. Martial underneath this. Leno punches it clear. This time it gets a good long punch on it. Further away by Aubameyang. Özil beats Fred to the ball. First time played into the opposition territory. It was a good idea from Özil. Lacazette was on a different wavelength.
Well, I can't believe...
It's a free kick, wasn't it?
It was a free kick, but I can't believe Fred never played for it. He was quite happy to stay on his feet. I'm one for people going down here too easy, but that was so obvious and blatant. That was a pullback on his shoulder.
Of course it was.
Not given by Chris Kavanagh. And there was a bit of attending to do to a Arsenal body in the middle of midfield. Granit Xhaka has just gone across. I'm just trying to work out who it is who's down. Lucas Torreira, I think it is, inside the Arsenal half of the field, with his hand over his eyes, needing a bit of treatment. They do have one substitution left, Arsenal, who lead by 2-0. We'll have to talk to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer about Paul Pogba later on as well, suggesting that he needed an extra few days recovery after 2 substitute appearances, which is why he wasn't in the squad for the previous game. What's he going to say for the reason that he's not in the squad this time around, do you think?
Well, I think the next 2 or 3 weeks will be vital for Paul Pogba and Manchester United's relationship moving forward. Sam, I don't know. It'd be interesting what Paul thinks. I'm not sure he'll be there. I think he's kind of made it clear. I think his agent's made it clear. I think he wants to move. I think he wants to maybe perhaps go try Spain. And you know something, from where I'm sitting, I'm looking at Manchester United. I think it'd be a move that would probably suit both parties.
It definitely suits both parties. I believe he is going this month. I really do. I think everything suggests he's going, and it's going around as a rumour, but I think it's becoming a fact now.
I wonder if Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will shed any light on that after the game. We'll try and do those interviews live into the sports bar a little bit later on. Jeff Brazier is hosting it. 08717 223 is the number to call if you want to have a chat with him. And Mickey Gray. Yeah, I was just doing a little test amongst our team here, see who was paying attention. Yeah.
He's doing some hours, Mickey Gray. That's
well, you know. Yeah, he's got to keep himself looking like Britain's next top model.
Tell you what, I wouldn't mind his wage pack at the end of the month. He's done some amount of shows up, boy.
Aubameyang down the left into Bukayo Saka, whose cross is steered away by Maguire, says Ali McCoist, who's on breakfast tomorrow morning on TalkSport from 6 a.m. Here's Saka towards the edge of the area again. He's got Xhaka just a little bit deeper. Xhaka comes infield, being chased around by Greenwood and Fred. He goes back out to the left, and Aubameyang, who skates past 2 challenges, pops it off to Lacazette to curl it in at the near post, but it's too high and it's over the top of the crossbar. and a rare Arsenal attack in this second half comes to nothing. Ali McCoy.
It's an excellent run across the face from Aubameyang. It really is. Takes a lovely touch, and what Lacazette does, he does really, really well. He actually steps out the way 3 or 4 yards to take himself away from the central defenders, give himself a little bit of space, and he tried to bend it into the top left hand corner, and I actually thought he's going to put his foot round it and whip it back across, but he didn't. But certainly maybe Arsenal's best move second half.
Pereira on a couple of steps in from the near touchline. He needs some support in the centre, really. Fred across to Maguire. Maguire now moving forward for Manchester United. 2-0 to Arsenal. They need to get a goal back quickly, Manchester United, or it's a poor clearance by Saka. One back on the near side by Fred. He stretched it too far for Wan-Bissaka. Surely no. It's brilliant cross into the centre. Almost reached Martial, and it's cleared away. Quickly, Arsenal look to counter. Saka out to Mesut Ozil. Ozil infield towards Bukayo Saka. Once again, no one overlapping on the right-hand side, so Saka has to go in alone. He shoots low and far too weakly into the arms of David De Gea. And now with men behind the ball and on the wrong side of it, Manchester United look to counter-attack.
I mean, how open actually were Manchester United there. They were incredibly open to the counter. I know they've got to push forward, but they didn't leave themselves open there.
Torreira, who's responded well after having treatment just moments ago, sends the ball up to Ozil. Xhaka leads a counter charge. He steps over halfway. He's got Lacazette and Ozil with him. Goes to Lacazette, gets the ball caught under his feet, and then Nelson tries a shot which hits the back of Lacazette and pops back to the edge of the area. Oh dear.
I'm looking at Paul here with that attack, Arsenal's attack, and I could feel him. He's wanting Shaw to come in, and Shaw never tucked in at all, did he?
He didn't. He's not interested in tucking in.
Here is Martial trying to get through the middle of the knot of red players. It's cleared away to the far side. It's a Manchester United throw.
Just the positions he takes up, Luke Shaw. There was one against Newcastle as well. With their goal, he was so far wide. It was incredible. His starting positions defensively are absolutely awful.
I've got to say, Paul, I couldn't agree with you more, because the danger is the man that's nearest the goal, and that's Aubameyang. Forget about the man that's wide. He's got the man out wide isn't the problem. The immediate problem is Lacazette, rather, when Aubameyang's running through. Defensively, it's poor.
I was always told, do the hard work early.
Yeah,
and that's what.
Yes.
And he's not doing that.
Yeah.
Well, Matic has been replaced, and on comes Juan Mata for the final few moments of this game. Arsenal leading by 2-0. There are 10 minutes remaining on TalkSport in the 9th of our 10 games of New Year. Lacazette back to goal, over on the far side, the right. Oh, that's a terrible ball by Pereira, cut out by Aubameyang, and then steered away by Fred. He had no choice but to put it out on this near side because he was under pressure. Lacazette's got to come off here, because he just has spent probably 2 of the last 3 minutes on the floor stretching out his calves and his hamstrings. And here comes the change. Lacazette off, and Guendouzi comes on, and Lacazette being applauded for his hard work today. He's done a good job, actually, and certainly played a big part in the second goal. Paul Parker.
I think that might even be cramped, by the way, because I must say he has worked so hard attacking wise, but even more so I think defensively, and getting back, his tracking back has been excellent as well.
Ole Gunnar Solskjaer embraces Matic. Now he comes out and has a word with Greenwood, said to him, this is what I want you to do, Mata, I need you to do this for me. Guendouzi comes out into the middle of midfield, and a little note is passed to Luca Torreira, who's just reading it now in the centre of midfield. And then is he swallowing it just to make sure that the evidence is not picked up by anybody else?
It looked like it, I've got to say. That was very kind of MI5-ish.
It was, wasn't it?
I'm sure we weren't saying for Mission Impossible. We'd blow up now.
I wonder if it says at the bottom, this message won't self-destruct, so could you do it for us, please? Here is Ainsley Maitland-Niles for Arsenal, over on the far side. He just cuts over the halfway line, plays it wide to Reece Nelson. Nelson back in field again to Guendouzi, and then all the way back to Socrates. By the way, Bukayo Saka just picked up a yellow card there, and he picked up a yellow card for time wasting. He was taking a throw in and he took far too long over it, and as a result of that the referee decided that he would book him for it. So he's actually the only player on the field at the moment who has a yellow card in this game. Cards have been few and far between. Here is Lindelof. Square ball to Maguire. Manchester United about to lose for only the second time in 10 Premier League games. The ball is out towards the far side. It's collected and sent on into the feet of Martial. Martial trying to squeeze across into the centre. Blocked by Torreira this time, who gets into a right fullback position, and manages to clear. Hoists it out to the far side, and it's away for a throw in which Luke Shaw will take. 2-0. Manchester United have been linked with January transfer moves. It'll be interesting to see if they do bring anybody in the January transfer window. They can't get their ball forward to Rashford on that occasion, and away Arsenal come. Özil leads the charge but couldn't find the pass into Aubameyang, and Mikel Arteta, who's got this beautiful cashmere grey roll neck on, just turns rather frustratedly and looks to the heavens.
That was a real chance. What an opportunity. And to be fair to Aubameyang, he made about 3 different runs there to give Ozil an option to pass, and he did do it, but it just wasn't good enough to give him a shot at goal. Arsenal 2, Manchester United 0. And for the latest odds, you can head to the Betfair Exchange, the official betting partner of TalkSport's Premier League coverage, where right now you can get Arsenal at 1.03, Manchester United at 310, the draw at 36, all thanks to the Betfair Exchange. More ways to bet, more ways to win. 18 plus, please gambleaware.org. This is TalkSport. On a night where Manchester City have won again, Bournemouth have moved into the relegation zone after being thrashed at West Ham, who won under David Moyes on his first game in charge, 4-0. And Peter Wright is the new PDC World Darts champion. Here's Wan-Bissaka, right side, 3 steps in from the touchline, rolls his studs over the ball and gets to a crossing position, still going, chips it to the far post, not a great delivery. Rashford trying to keep it in, just about does so, down by the corner flag, followed out there by Maitland-Niles, cuts it back once again to Shaw, Shaw into Mata moves forward, pushes it on to Rashford cuts in field, now here is Anthony Martial, who's looking up. Wan-Bissaka's got his hand up on this right-hand side. They're not really going anywhere, Manchester United here. And credit has to go to Arsenal, who have just funneled back into position, blocked up the gaps. But Martial's got it left side. Across comes Maitland-Niles. Martial tries to keep it alive, wins the throw-in down by the corner flag. Does he? No. Goes out for an Arsenal throw.
They're just not shifting the ball quick enough, and they've got opportunities to cross. I think if you just put one cross in, next time you get in that position, people will believe that you're going to put the ball in. At the moment, there's no belief the ball's going to come in, so no one is actually putting himself in the position to attack the ball.
Next up for Manchester United, Wolves away live on TalkSport, then Manchester City at home live on TalkSport, Norwich at home, Liverpool away, Burnley in the second leg of that Carabao Cup semi-final on TalkSport, Wolverhampton Wanderers at home in the league. It's quite a busy period and quite a demanding period for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Here's a cross into the box again for Rashford, who stretches his right foot out, looking to try and get on the end of a long ball. Leno takes a very long time to dispatch the ball upfield when Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang was in loads of space, Paul Parker.
Oh, he was on, to be honest, really. I mean, Wan-Bissaka was near him. He was most the only one who could have caught him. But he was definitely away. Leno was more interested in throwing the ball out to the side of his box rather than looking forward.
For Arsenal, they've got Leeds at home coming up in the FA Cup on Monday night. Crystal Palace, Sheffield United, Chelsea and Burnley in the next couple of weeks. It might be an opportunity for Mikel Arteta to put a little bit of a run together. 87 on the clock, 2-0. Mikel Arteta on the verge of his first win as the manager of Arsenal. Fred trying to curl it into the box. Martial doesn't get there. Oh, Fred comes back after a poor piece of play on the edge of the area. Guendouzi or Louise or both of them ended up just making a little bit of a meal of that, and Manchester United have won a corner kick as a result. Ali McCoist.
Yeah, I've got to say, a little bit of poor defending there from Arsenal.
Mata with a cross into the area, headed away by David Luiz, who has been for the large part very good indeed. Pereira whips it into the box but hits Guendouzi, and it spirals into the path of Mesut Özil, and Özil Arsenal once again just fiddling around on the edge of their own area and not clearing particularly well. And then Fred with a mistake, and Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang has got away from him. Fred sliding in is beaten, and Aubameyang is steaming through the centre. He's got Nelson in the centre. He didn't find the pass, and there's not enough joining up, but here's Guendouzi, and so is Harry Maguire coming back just to tidy up for Manchester United. But Arsenal there had a great opportunity to kill the game. completely.
They certainly did, by the way. But the problem was with Fred. Fred had no reason. He done well just to be there. He should never have dived in to allow Aubameyang to run past him so easy.
Arsenal defended really well, bearing in mind that the majority of this second half has been played in their half, and they look as if they're going to keep a clean sheet. That doesn't happen very often.
I've got to say, the pace of Aubameyang there down this left-hand side. I mean, Wan-Bissaka's quick himself, but Aubameyang really. And once he got the other side of him, I thought he should have just headed for goal and had a finish himself. But, and that to put the game beyond doubt.
Arsenal on the verge of their first home victory in the Premier League since October the 6th. Their first in any competition since they beat Victoria Guimarães on the 24th of October. It will be a good start to the new year for Arsenal, and what is in reality a rare defeat for Manchester United.
I have to say it's a deserved one as well, because they just haven't performed. They've shown a little bit since the substitutions, but they don't really deserve anything.
How many inconsistent teams are there in this Premier League? Apart from Leicester, Manchester City and Liverpool.
No, I think you're 100% right. I mean, Manchester United certainly, the bringing on of Pereira and Greenwood has given them something, given them a little bit of life. The one thing I would say, the way that Arsenal started again, the way they particularly played in the first half with the energy and the pressing, it's very difficult to maintain that for 90 minutes. And I think we've seen a little bit. It's not so much a fitness issue as I
he said that was a problem. Mikel Arteta said, the stamina isn't as good as it should be, and maybe that did contribute on Sunday to the defeat. That's not something you can necessarily sort out that quickly, is it?
No, not at all. Particularly when you've got games coming thick and fast, and over this period, you don't really have time to train the players the way you would want to if you want to work in their fitness.
I'll tell you what helps with fitness this time of year as well. It's winning games of football. It's amazing what difference it makes when you go into the next game.
And no one wants a winter break when you're winning every week. Into the 90th minute of the game, and Manchester United trailing by 2-0. Arsenal leading by 2-0, and about to record their first victory under their new manager, the new regime in charge here. Steve Brown, the assistant coach, and Mikel Arteta, who has basically stationed himself on the edge of the 18-yard box for the whole of the 90 minutes. It's a good first win to get, isn't it? What was your first win when you became the Arsenal manager? Manchester United at home, 2-0, when we hadn't won here for 7 games. 4 minutes of added time still to play before the Arsenal fans are put out of their agony. That wait for a home victory going to go on for 4 more minutes. Over on the far side, the Manchester United fans, quite a lot of them made the journey on what is not an easy day for travel, have started to slowly trickle out of the ground, and the Arsenal fans are singing and chanting and revelling in a victory here. Pepe and Socrates giving Arsenal control of the game against Manchester United, and Guendouzi has it inside the Manchester United half, and he drives towards the edge of the D. He's got space for Aubameyang on the left hand side. They're queuing up on the edge of the area. Here is Reece Nelson getting onto his right foot, but engaged by Mata, who robs him. And then the ball was brought clear by Maguire, and Arteta shouting, screaming, driving his team to get back into position here, which they do pretty much very quickly to stop Manchester United, the possibility of the counter-attack, and that's been a feature of their play today. Look at him bouncing on the edge of his technical area, on the soles of his feet, wanting this game to come to an end. On the right is Wan-Bissaka, a cross which is blocked by Saka. Should be out for a corner, I thought. No.
It was well defended, I should say, by Saka. He's actually blocked it. He's end up coming off of Wan-Bissaka. How many times has he done that to people, Wan-Bissaka, when he's blocked them?
Well, big day today for Gabriel Jesus, who struck twice for Manchester City. Connor Wickham scored an equaliser at the end of the game for Crystal Palace against Norwich after a rather brave change of formation from Roy Hodgson in that match. David Moyes successful in his first game back as the West Ham boss. Leicester beat Newcastle. Watford got all 3 points again under Nigel Pearson. Harry Kane is injured, came off with a hamstring problem against Southampton as Tottenham lost again. Another inconsistent team. And here Manchester United have been beaten by Arsenal, and Arsenal fans are going to enjoy it. David Luiz just turning around to the crowd, and you see it, trying to get them to raise the noise levels once again.
And they were more than happy to oblige.
Wan-Bissaka out towards the right, picked up by Pereira. Pereira infield to Mata. Mata trying to clip it on. Rashford ghosting through. Leno came out. The two of them collided and Leno got away with it. It was a really delicious ball from Mata. Free kick given 5 yards back from the edge of the D here in a dangerous position, a Marcus Rashford position. But that was a really good chance for Manchester United.
It's a tremendous ball. I'm not sure whether Rashford fancied it going with his head.
No.
Good goalkeeping right enough. Then comes off his line. He was criticised, obviously, and correctly so, for the first goal against Chelsea later on. But he did really well there coming off his line. I thought Rashford potentially had the opportunity to go for the header.
I was going to say, if he'd gone with his head and tried to dive in between the ball and the goalkeeper, if you get what I mean, as it came a little bit earlier.
I'm with you.
He could have scored, couldn't he?
He scored. He stood and actually waited for the ball to come to him rather than go and attack the ball. But I could see it happening from here. The Arsenal defenders couldn't see it.
Pereira and Fred standing over the ball, not Marcus Rashford, which is a bit of a surprise. It's Fred who takes it, and it is the worst free kick of 2020. And it is so far over the top of the crossbar that you're being mocked. They're being mocked by the Arsenal fans.
Oh,
that's quite some achievement, by the way.
It's just absolutely incredible when those two players on the ball, and if you're a Man United fan, you travel all the way down here, and you see those two players on top of the ball at a free kick, you know then it hasn't gone right.
Why did Rashford not take it?
You've took the words out of my mouth. Why is Rashford not pushing the two of them out the road to go and hit that? Somebody will need to explain to me. And as it happens, you're spot on with your analysis. I've not seen a poorer free kick in a long, long time.
Dear, oh dear. I think Fred the Red could have done a better job. There's the full-time whistle. At the third time of asking, Arteta comes up with the right answer. Manchester United become the first team in 3 months to suffer defeat in the Premier League at Arsenal. Finally, the home fans have something to cheer about. 2019 was full of upheaval and failure. 2020 has started, as so many years do with Arsenal, with hope. Good for now. They've beaten Manchester United by 2-0.